you don't need to move to Nigeria. Go back home. You don't need to relocate to Lagos. I know you had a good time during December. You love doing your hair for £10. You love doing your nails for $2. You love going out to the club and not paying for anything. But when all of that is said and done, life goes on. People actually always ask me about like moving here, like how did I move here, starting a business here, how I find living here and all of that. And to be honest, like I'm a big believer of like experience things for yourself. So I never really tell people like don't come here, come here. I'm more of a come here if you want to come here, see how it is, and if you don't like it, you can always go back to where you came from. That was my mantra even when it came to moving here. So I moved to Nigeria in 2016. I ended up opening a business in 2018. I also ended up getting married and started a family here, and I've been here ever since. Me and my family are actually working out moving back to the UK, funny enough, but people ask me all the time about like moving here, how it is living here. Firstly, Dirty December Nigeria is not Nigeria. Like the time you spend here, the 2 weeks, the 3 weeks, the 4 weeks you spend here when you come for that period, that is not what it's like all the time. Because firstly, when you come during that Dirty December period, everybody's on break, everyone's on holiday, so naturally everyone can go out and have fun and do all these things. Once that period is over, once that January hits, people are back to work, they're back to their daily lives. If someone was to tell me now that they want to move to Nigeria, my first thing will be, what are you gonna do when you come here? What are you actually coming here for? If you're coming to Nigeria, if you're moving to Nigeria, be coming here for something. Whether that's a job, whether that's service, whether that's man, anything, have something that you're actually coming here for. Don't just come here and think, oh, I'm just gonna come here and be sitting down and be looking, or I'll just come here and be going out and be having fun. Like, that's not how it works. And to be honest, you'll even get sick of Nigeria real quick if you do that, in my opinion. Nigeria is not a place that you can just be idle, in my opinion. You need to have something going on. You need to have something you're doing. Also, if you're coming here, have your accommodation sorted. So I'm going to speak about Lagos specifically because I live here, but regardless of where you're going, have your accommodation sorted. But one thing, Lagos, like accommodation, I've noticed it's a problem. Like, if you don't have accommodation, I mean, it's a problem. I've seen people come here and be feeling like, oh, they're gonna just stay with like a family member or stay with a friend, or even maybe one guy they met will just lodge them. No, I feel like that always ends up becoming a problem because everybody has their own thing going on. Even that friend that you have that's saying, oh yeah, come stay with me, you can chill with me, da da da. By the time a couple of weeks pass, maybe a month, maybe even a couple of months if they're really, really nice, they'll just get tired, they'll get irritable. Something always happens, and that goes the same with even like I've seen when people come here and stay with family members and then they end up having issues because maybe they can't be free, or the family member is just somehow like, there's just always something. I feel like if you're coming to Lagos, the best thing is either you're staying with your immediate family, as in your actual parents, or you already just have your own place to stay, whether it's you have your apartment, whether you're going to rent an apartment, whether you're going to buy a house, whatever. Just have your own accommodation. I feel like that solves like 90% of your problems, because ultimately, even if you're broke but you have where you're staying and at least there's light, there's food, you're actually okay. You can stay in until you get yourself together. So when I moved to Lagos, obviously my family live here, my parents have a house here, so accommodation and bills and transport, like all of those things you would generally think about wherever you're living, that was not something I had to think about, which was one thing that made it very easy to like decide to even move here. So people always ask me like, oh, how long did you save for, how long did you plan for in terms of moving here and starting a business and stuff. There wasn't really any of that, because a lot of the things you would have to kind of think about and plan for were already taken care of, even onto my business as well, because people ask me about that a lot. Starting a business is hard regardless, so regardless of what I'm about to say, please bear in mind that starting a business is still hard. But I'm not gonna lie, I did have a very big head start when it came to our business. My parents have land around Lagos, so when we said, yeah, we're gonna start a business, they were like, okay, cool, bet, like we're gonna obviously support you guys, help you guys. So they literally built our beauty bar. So essentially I wasn't thinking about like renting anywhere, buying anywhere, doing any of that. It was a case of, okay, this land is here, we're gonna build you this beauty bar. So it was more so like we did the finishing, you know, got some furniture, got like the stock and the items that we want to use, things like that. Now in hindsight, to be fair, like if I was going to start a business tomorrow, I definitely would take the time to actually like plan and save and just have extra things in place, because obviously, yeah, with a business, so much of the money you get from a business goes back into the business anyway. So it's not like, oh yeah, you'll start a business today and then tomorrow you'll be cashing out. And it was easier for us to do that then because, yeah, we didn't really have responsibilities. That's the fact of, okay, yeah, our parents are there. So ultimately, if the business goes bust or we need help or blah, 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 then obviously, yeah, we can actually just... There were times in our business where something will happen. The way Nigeria is, oh well, you could, today will be fine, tomorrow all of a sudden you'll need 2 million for something. And then, yeah, we can go to my parents and be like, okay, can we have this? We did always pay it back though. We did always pay it back. That's one thing, like, I feel like even though we did get a head start, once the business started, if we ever needed to like borrow money from my dad or my mum, it was always a case of we'd borrow it and we'd be like, okay, do you know what, like we need the business to make this money back so we can even give it back, just to even feel like, yeah, my business is really doing something. You don't want to just feel like I have a business here and it's just being funded by someone else, because it's almost like, why even have a business then? So I will say, yeah, our business definitely did generate a lot of money, because there was a point where we actually moved location and we started actually renting a salon space. The business was funding itself enough to actually pay that rent. But anyway, this video isn't about the business, but I can make a video separate about that if anybody like cares to know or has any questions about starting a business here specifically. My point in all of that is to say, even when you're looking at people that move here and you feel like, oh yeah, this person moves to Nigeria and it's so amazing and so blah blah, you don't know the backstory behind like how they moved or the help they had or their support they had. But one thing I'll say about moving to Nigeria, I do feel like you need a lot of support moving here. I'm not saying you can't move here without support, you definitely can, and I know people who have done that, but me personally, I feel like it was so easy to move here because we had so much support. Even the fact that like all my family live here anyway, that in itself made it a lot easier to move here. It's different in my opinion moving here if you're coming by yourself. Another thing, finances. So I know I see all these videos on TikTok like, come with me to do my nails for £5, make a shoe for £2, go to dinner for £1, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's all well and good coming here and converting things, and when you're seeing how things are like priced when you change them to pounds or dollars or euros, whatever currency you have, naturally everything is going to seem so cheap and so affordable because Naira is so weak. But bear in mind, when you actually live here and you're earning in Naira and spending in Naira, it's not the same. If you are going to be earning and living here in Naira, then please do not be thinking about, and even if you have savings, even if you have 100k pounds in savings, don't be calculating your spending in that pounds. Like, think about your spending in Naira. So think about it as, okay, let's say for argument's sake you're going to be earning a million Naira a month. Think about your spending with that 1 million Naira a month, unless you actually have a way to be here and be earning foreign currency as well. And mind you, that's the best kind of experience for Nigeria in my opinion. It's so sad that it's come to that, but I personally think, yeah, if you can be earning in dollars or pounds or euros or at this point even CDs, anything that's not Naira, and living in Nigeria, I feel like that in itself gives you a head start. Another thing people have asked me is if I moved here because of my husband. Like, I think a lot of people have assumed previously that like I moved here because I met my husband and blah blah blah. No, I moved here before I met my husband anyway. But for argument's sake, would I have moved to Nigeria if like I met my husband and then he was here and he was like, yeah, move here for me? And the answer is, at that time, probably yes. And that's not specific to my actual husband. I'm saying like in general, I think more so in general. Like for instance, if you are someone that's in a relationship or you've met a guy and you're thinking, oh yeah, this guy's telling me to move here, should I move here? I would say yes, but I would say it depends on the context. So for me, at the time I moved to Nigeria, I didn't have anything specifically tying me to the UK. I didn't have responsibilities in the UK. My family were not in the UK. I didn't have anything going on. I was young, I was done with uni, so it was like, why not? Do you know what I mean? And if you can't do things for the plot when you're young and dumb, then when can you do things for the plot? I know there's like a weird fetish thing at the moment with Nigerian guys, not even at the moment because it's been for a while, but people just have this whole, oh my god, I love Nigerian men, they'll take care of you, they'll treat you like a queen, they'll this, they'll that. There is that kind of Nigerian man, but I think that's even more so rare. I think, in my opinion, typical Nigerian men, I mean, look at your parents, for instance, look at your dads, look at your uncles, look at the older Nigerian men generation. That's how a lot of Nigerian men are even till today. So it's not a case of, oh, you'll just come to Nigeria, meet one billionaire and he's going to change your life. Don't be thinking all of that. But of course, yeah, if you are moving here, naturally you are going to meet guys here and date here. And I think with Nigerian guys, and to be honest, it's just guys in general, there's no... Guys are just mad. Like, guys are actually just mad. You just have to hope and pray and I don't even know, just wish that you meet somebody that makes sense, and when you do, then, you know, congrats to you. But it's not like dating here is any more easier than dating anywhere else, in my opinion. Be cautious and be open. Keep your options open. Like, guys here, yeah, they're very sweet. They can do all the... I feel like the typical Nigerian guy kind of fits the standard of like what people explain love bombing to be, and obviously that can either go one or two ways. Like, that might go amazing, or it might just be like, oh, you're actually just crazy. Because you meet a guy today that's nice and doing XYZ doesn't mean he has to be your be all and end all. You can still meet other people, you can still explore other options. Be cautious. Like, guys can lie a lot, and guys can lie a lot in general. Nigerian guys, no, from what I've seen, I definitely feel like, yeah, Nigerian guys have a special way that they can just lie, live double lives, just do so many things. So just be cautious. If you meet someone, ask people about them, like snoop, do your due diligence. I'm a strong believer in, yes, look at your man's phone, yes, look at your man's emails, look at your man's drawers. If your man invites you to his house, even check everywhere top to bottom, even speak to the security if you can. Like, just check and do your due diligence before you know, lock in with someone. Well, another thing, NYC, because I feel like I spoke about that in a previous video and people have asked about that as well. So yeah, I started my NYC when I came here. I've started and stopped my NYC like 3 times. I'm a mess, but don't be like me. If you are coming here, I actually do feel like you should do your NYC. If you'd asked me about doing your service, like even when I first got here, I would have been like, oh no, don't bother, don't do it. But actually just do it, because you really just don't know when it can come in handy and what it can come in handy for. By the time you're doing it, it just seems like, oh, this is long, I can't be bothered. But really and truly, that year flies by, and especially like there's so many ways you can work your service to suit you, so it's not so bad. Also, if you are going to move here, I think just weigh up the pros and cons based off of like where you are in your life. So like I said, at the time I moved to Nigeria, I had no ties to anywhere, so I could have just gone anywhere. Like, I think especially now that I have kids as well, I prefer being in Nigeria in terms of like raising the kids and stuff like that, just in terms of having support, both like family support as well as like actual, you know, paid help support. Right now, the season that we're about to enter, I do feel like those things being in the UK benefits us a lot more. So if you're trying to move here, just really do it based off of like what is going to actually benefit you. Don't think about the fun that you have in December, the fun that you have when you come in Easter, whenever. Don't think about your friends. Don't even think about people that are telling you, oh my gosh, yeah, calm, this and that, because you'll be surprised. You'll come here and the same people that are telling you calm, the same friends that you're making, the friends that you have here that you're feeling like, oh yeah, we'll be doing this and that together, by the time you get here, they'll be the ones saying that they're going. So do it based off of yourself only. But overall, like I said in the beginning, experience things for yourself. If you are moving here, or if you end up moving here and you don't like it, you can always go back to where you're coming from. It's not do or die. Like, you can actually just see how something is, and if it doesn't work for you, go back and do what you was doing before. It's not a crime to start something and be like, okay, yeah, this is not for me. So ultimately, if you are thinking about coming here anyway, just come. But I do think for a lot of people, when they start to like maybe weigh up the pros and cons of being here, or even just like really think about their decision of why they want to come here, you might just realize, okay, you don't actually want to come here. Maybe you just want to be visiting during December. Maybe you want to visit a bit more, a couple of times throughout the year, as opposed to actually relocating here. For anyone who's watching this that has moved here or is living here, you can obviously comment below and share your experience with other people. If you are thinking about moving here and you have any questions, you can share those below as well. If you made it to the end, thank you very much for watching. Comment below what other type of videos you want to see, and I will see you in my next video.